Good morning, Ma'am Helen Tampus. I am Rosel Rota, BC Ed 2, and for today, I'm gonna share and defend my lesson plan. So, along with my lesson plan, the first I have my prayer, and then to be followed by greetings and checking of attendance, and then I have here my objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the pupil should be able to identify the different parts of the body and appreciate the importance of each part of the body and give the function of different parts of the body. So it's motivation time. So in my motivation, I let my students to sing a song, head, shoulder, knees, and toes. And while singing, I also ask them to shake their hands and move their bodies so that they would be energized also. So before I get to my discussion, I first showed a flashcards with different printed pictures of body parts, and I asked them to name the different parts of the body and its function. So it's discussion time. So my discussion strategy is that I only point out, or I only assess my students by pointing out the parts of the body in the picture. Then they would be the one to answer or identify what are the appropriate body parts. For example, I touch with the chest in the pictures and they would say chest and like that. Then next is application. So in my application, I give them an activity, a worksheet paper, and I give them the instruction to label the parts of the body below using the words in the box. Then after they answer the activity, we together check their activity, and surprisingly, most of my students get the perfect score. And for my evaluation, I asked them one by one to give one examples of body parts. And in my case, my students would stand up and then point out what the body parts they want to answer, and then if they answer like they point out and manipulate the body parts, like for example they touch with the eyes and they would say eyes and it is used for seeing, like that. And for their assignment, I let them bring some pictures of body parts and show them in front of the class and familiarize its function. So I asked them to get their assignment notebook, and then I let them copy their assignment for tomorrow. So now it's time for my lesson plan defense. So we have here 5 questions, and the first question is that what is your lesson plan about and why did you choose this lesson? So my lesson plan all about is the parts of the body, and I choose this lesson because I believe that teaching little ones to know, differentiate, and love their bodies is the top priority of an early childhood education teacher, since it plays a big important role to their lives, because it kinds of like our body parts is very important as a human being, and it serves as our um part of our life. So the number 2 question is that how will your lesson contribute in developing lifelong learners? So for me, my lesson contribute in developing lifelong learners because it is important that they learn about their body parts for them to take care and love their bodies. And it also helps them to grow into children and adults who want to keep their bodies strong, healthy, and safe so that they can do all things they love to do. Then the third question is that what innovative teaching pedagogies did you use? So the teaching pedagogies that I use is the inquiry-based teaching pedagogies because it helps students to cultivate, challenge their minds, and recall their stuck knowledge. So I do it this one. I I think it's third part of my lesson plan. I showed them with the flashcards with printed pictures of body parts, and I asked them to name and give its function of body parts. The fourth question is that where the intended learning outcomes achieved, how did you assess? So I believe that I had achieved the intended learning outcomes because they able to differentiate, appreciate, and know the functions of its body parts. And I assess them by giving an activity for them to label the parts of the body, and then I give them a follow-up questions which I ask them to give one example of body parts and its function. So surprisingly, they answer correctly, and then in their part of activity, most of my students get the perfect score. And the fifth question is that if you can reteach the same lesson, how will you do it differently? So if I were to repeat the same lesson, I will do it differently by um, having storytelling using the body parts and showing them a educational video for the students to be excited in learning new lesson. And that would be all, ma'am. Thank you for your time. God bless.